Wow, that sounded amazing. I've not heard you play acoustic guitar before. It just sounds so different, but I loved it. It's very mellow with the electric lead on it and really sort of laid back. So tell us a little bit about that track, Holding Hands.
So, well, holding hands is my crowning glory, I think, of my 30s is that song. I don't do ballads because of the type of voice I've got.
Okay.
And it took a very long time to find the song within, because we had that, as I said, when we recorded the album, um, Holding Hands was, I've got this lovely 12/8 feel, but it was very clearly a ballad.
Mm.
And I didn't really know what to write about other than heartbreak. But, you know, having come from Sean Webster's band, he could sing Bar Bar Black Sheep and make you cry because he's got that incredible voice and he knows how to tap into.
So what's it about then, Holding Hands?
So Holding Hands is about, it's a very specific memory, to be honest,
Yeah.
of I was in a relationship that wasn't working, and I didn't really want to. The girl I was with at the time and I were in very different places in our lives, and she was more invested in the relationship than I was, and I didn't want to break up with her, but at the same time I realized that if we were going to stay together, she was going to make a few decisions that in the long run wouldn't have worked out for her. Whereas if we'd not been together, she would have gone away and done this particular thing she was going to do that she decided she wasn't going to do because we were having problems.
Okay.
So it was very much a case of if I break up with her, it's like tearing the plaster off quickly, you know, and she'll go off and do her thing,
yeah,
and I'll deal with it. We were young and we got on great, and we also, I don't think I've met anyone ever that has got as angry with me as she used to. So clearly there was an issue
How
somewhere.
could you get angry with you? Right? You're just too
nice.
nice.
Dude, honestly, especially back then. I mean, there's a reason why I'm fairly easy to get on with now. This is a lot of looking in the mirror and trying to find out why things don't work out and modifying the behavior. So that song really was all about, it was nice, and it was very cathartic for me because I never really dealt with it. I just kind of told myself she was a psycho, and that was how I dealt with it. But she wasn't at all. You know, she was lovely, really, and we were just in different stages in our lives. And so that song is it's not exactly chronological the way the story pans out in that tune. Is kind of how I remembered it. And the reason I wrote that song, you know, I mean, I wrote that song and I was married and I've got a child on the way. And there was no, you know, there's no hangover of emotion from that relationship, but I knew I had to write about pain, and in order to sell the mood I was trying to convey in this thing. So I went back as far to a period in my life that I'd not really ever dealt with, and just wrote about it. And lyrically, it once I decided to do that, the song then, I suppose, flowered, if you will, for lack of a better word. I was banging my head against the wall for a year, believe it or not, trying to find a lyric and a melody and an approach. Every time I sang over it, it sounded worse than it did just as an instrumental. So
that's amazing.
It took a long time to find it, but once I hit upon writing about that experience, and again, it all harks back to what Rog said on that first day or second day in the studio, where I'm freaking out because we're not playing 12-bar blues. If you're honest, the music's got integrity, and it'll be what it'll be. You know, I'm very aware that my singing voice is, you know, I'm not a singer, I'm a vocalist, and I've sort of figured out a way of writing music that kind of suits it, if that makes sense. I mean, the only reason I sing is genuinely because when my band split up, that Melt band, there was no one else. I didn't know anybody else who could sing, and if I wanted to continue to play guitar live, I had to sing. So that was it. I had to do it, you know. And I'm a bit of an extrovert naturally, I think. But when I was younger, I was very I didn't have a lot of confidence. So I was this kind of bizarre extrovert that was shy. So I wanted to sing and I wanted to be on stage, but at the same time, I was terrified of, I don't know what, I think I was maybe scared of not being very good and then people saying that, to be honest.
Yeah, I suppose we all are, though, aren't we?
You know,
you first get up and play, and then you get to
I think there was,
you know, you build your confidence up, and it all seems more natural like that, doesn't it? After that,
it does. And I think what's been harder to learn now is having kind of developed this character on stage. For the songs like Holding Hands, you have to allow that vulnerability back in order to then be able to recreate that emotion, you know. And I think that's, for me, that ballad, I can't do the big Curtis Stigers, Michael McDonald voice, but I can do vulnerable. So that I kind of have to become that guy again. I sort of have to become like young me. So it's kind of useful that song is about a period in my life where I was younger. And
fantastic. Well, look, we're going to talk about your tour in a second, but I'm just going to go to another record. And when we come back from that, we'll talk about your tour. We'll speak to you after this.
Great.